Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 32, I think
so.
32 of the Scottish Silverback podcast. And we will be joined today by Alix Small, IFBB Pro, Fitness IFBB Pro, in the next 5 minutes. So I thought Greg and I would have a wee discussion about because we want to obviously focus the episode on Alix. So I thought we'd have a wee discussion first before she came on. So in terms of your off-season, as boring and mundane as it is for all of us, and we kind of know that it's the same monotonous shit day to day, how's it going?
Well, this week I've actually started my last push-up phase before I start prep, so it is a little bit exciting for me. Not that like anything's changed, but in terms of obviously PEDs going back in, but like, you know, when like you're in like that recovery phase and then it's like the first jab goes in, it's like, fuck, let's go. It's like game time, like a switch gets flicked in your head.
Yeah, like placebo effect.
It make no difference really, but obviously like in the build-up, in terms when it gets in the system, you get going, but it's like just that fire gets lit. So it's been a good week. Obviously I had Jack Gunn training bus for 3 out of 4 sessions this week, which was really good. It was just good to have somebody else along, so he's like is passionate, is like obviously really good in Scottish bodybuilding. So it was you know, when like you've got someone new training with, you kind of want to almost like push harder than them. It's like a good little fun between the two of you. So it was good, and also helped Cammy along. So obviously they're both quite similar in terms out in prep. So yeah, it was a good week of training. I'm just kind of waiting for like that initial click of the stuff to get going and then just see where it escalates from there. But as I was saying to you, food is fairly high, 6.5, but like I feel like I've taken a lot more, so it's a good place to be in while starting the push-up phase. So I'm fairly happy. Just hope that I can get out of this next 20 weeks what I hope I can. No injuries, no issues with digestion, anything. I think I solved most of that in the last phase. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
What did you do to change, help your digestion? Like,
I honestly don't know. I genuinely think I just went too hard on a rebound out of my show. Kind of probably what you did a little bit. Like you wanted to go in hard. I went in very hard, and I think like just that initial straightaway just really didn't set my digestion on a good path. And then I think like changing coach, we tried new sources, and it was like just certain things I didn't seem to agree with. Like I had to pull chicken out, which is very odd for me. Chicken was just sitting like a lump of lead. It was feeling bloated. My lower GI tract was just like felt like it was under stress all the time. So I removed that for turkey mince. Amazing, no problem at all. Then just certain things. There's certain things that was just kind of not agreeing with me. So we changed that a few sources, and it just seemed to work well. But I think I just like pushed my body too hard out of a rebound phase, and it just didn't like it.
We know that like you see like Chad Nichols and that. You know how spoke to like a few. I've heard and spoke to a few of his boys, and it's like eating like 10 plus ounces of meat per meal, right? So I ran my protein quite high out the back of that the Ben Weeder, and I was fine for a few months, but like I got to a point where I was just like, no, this isn't happening anymore.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
How are you?
Good.
I'm sound.
Are you on your phone?
Aye, just my phone.
Can you turn it to the side?
This way. Aye.
That's the one.
There we go.
That's better.
Perfect. No, we're just talking about how like you hear like coaches doing like massive amounts of like protein per meal, and like Chad Nichols and that has his boys doing like 10 plus ounces of like cooked meat. And I was like, I don't know how they're like
digesting it.
That's mad. Because I had to bail out like after like a couple of months with the levels I was at. And I was nowhere near that, so fuck knows.
To be fair, I'm on quite a lot of protein now. Like I'm on 180 beef cooked. But that's quite a lot for a female. But my digestion's crazy. So fast.
Yeah,
so
if you get away with it, it's probably like actual beneficial.
It will be. It will be.
Yeah. See, mine used to be amazing, and I think just over the years of probably just like pushing food hard, it's just kind of started to gradually decrease. This year, I've noticed it the most out of any. Like when I changed to JP, that was the first time ever I've noticed, like, when I was pushing food hard, I was like feeling really fucked, and I was like lethargic, wanting to sleep all the time, like really bloated all the time. But I was like, I just had to soldier on because I knew I didn't have too long in the push-up phase. But this year, I've noticed it even more.
Yeah, probably is just like from like constantly doing it, eh?
Yeah.
Pushing.
Yeah.
So enough about Greg. We've got our first Olympian on the show, and just clarify, I don't know if you know, but are you the only Scots person to stand on the stage? That's mad.
Yeah. I know, it's proper crazy.
How does that make you feel?
Do you know what? It's like, it's such a good feeling. Like, I made sure that they wrote Scotland qualified this year, because last year they put UK, and I was like, I made sure that they put Scotland this time, because you've got to represent. Do you know what I mean? Like, the only person. So yeah, no, it's a pretty surreal feeling. Just got to make Scotland proud.
Yeah, I mean, what I remember from the Fitness Olympia, like, you must have been like probably top 3 most shredded on out of all the girls on that day.
Listen, I was so peeled at the Olympia. I was flat though, so I feel like if we'd actually filled it out properly, like, that would have been crazy, that look. Yeah,
because weren't you doing like mad like amounts of food prior to that show?
Crazy amounts of food. Like, well, so it was the same into Alicante, but I was doing 3 burgers and chips a day. Like, this was crazy, right? To fill up for Alicante, I had like 3 burgers and chips, like normal, like so much rice, cream of rice, and to actually get full for stage, I ate 32 Snickers bars.
Fucking hell.
Jesus.
I swear, like, it was crazy. It was so crazy.
What I want feel like mega full, like having that volume in a meal, or is it just like digesting as you're eating?
Nah, my digestion's crazy, honestly. Like, actually madness.
Yeah.
What I wanted to know was, like, because at the time I wanted to ask you, but I was like, nah, I'll just leave it. She's obviously busy. But like, prior to, were you doing that were you doing like big refeeds and cheats throughout the entire prep?
So basically, for Alicante, like my debut last year, we basically, like, I did no carb, and I was doing like an hour stairs, and like on top of that, obviously training and gymnastics. But then once I got lean, my body just did this weird thing that we started adding more food, and then not like I was just getting more peeled. So then we just kept adding more food, and it got to the point that, like, that's when I was like eating 3 burgers and chips a day, and I was just like, you know, I was able to hold fullness from that, but it was so strange, like, how my body, you know, went from doing like no carb and an hour stairs to then we pulled cardio, added a bit of carbs, and I just kept dropping, and then ended up on like loads of food. But then into the Olympia, that like food was still like high, so it was yeah, it was just like so different how it went from that to that. But definitely, like, this time as well, I mean, I'm 19 weeks out, but my food's like 4,200, and that's with like you know, like, I did 2 big refeeds like 2 days ago.
That's mad. That's pretty insane. And also, we know, like, for those who don't know, like, with fitness, you have to do the whole gymnastic side of it as well, like the routine stuff. Like,
yes.
So how much are you doing of that a day? Like, what does that entail? Because I do my posing routine for like 3 rounds, and that's me done.
So I train twice a day in the gym, as in 2 gym sessions, and then I also do 2 hours of gymnastics at night. So I don't really sit still.
Yeah. So, like, that's obviously where the food demand comes from then. Yeah, because I think a lot of people will be wondering, like, especially girls, be like, why the fuck am I not on? You know, there's always a reason, because I've had a few clients over the years where they're like, oh, so-and-so says she's eating like 3,500. I was like, yeah, but she's not told you what she's doing as well. You know what I mean? It's very circumstantial, and obviously you have to fuel what you're doing, and yeah, that's kind of obviously where the food totals come from. So
yeah, so yeah, I know. Literally though, like, I'm always like moving around, and like, you know, like if because I'm doing like, so for training as well, it's roughly like 12 exercises per day, split into 2, 6 and 6, but each exercise has 5 sets. Okay, so like, yeah, so I've got 5 sets per exercise. Each set must get heavier, and I'm only allowed 50 seconds rest. So it's like, do you know what I mean?
Aye.
Yes.
It's just a metabolic furnace, basically.
Aye, basically.
Are you doing cardio?
Nah, no cardio.
Let's say no.
There's on top of that as well.
Yeah,
not yet. I mean, we'll probably just, you know, lower food, but if I need to do cardio, I need to do cardio. We'll see what happens. Like,
yeah, I mean, we haven't actually kind of like heard from you in terms of like where you started and whatnot. So let us know how you get into competing, or first of all, how did you get into training, and then how did that kind of evolve through time?
So I've been a gymnast from the age I was 5. So like I was always an athlete through, you know, my younger years. It's been like instilled in me from such a young age. But when I was 15, I was poorly with anorexia. So I got really ill, and then I didn't train or do anything. You know, I was just a bit like away with it until I was like 18. But then I started training in the gym, and it's weird. It was like a mental switch in my head. It's like I'm all in, you know. So then I was like, right, I'm going to compete. So I competed. Actually, sorry, I just turned 19. And then I competed that year, and it was such a crazy year because obviously like I went from just training, because I was doing my PT course, and a girl in the PT course said, I'll coach you, you should do the fitness class because it's like a gymnastics routine. And then, you know, I won my pro card that year when I was 19. So yeah, that was a whirlwind. But then after that, I took 2 years off to obviously gain some size because I was like a stick insect. I was like, I think I was 49 kilo on stage, and I'm 5'8". So yeah, for my pro debut, I was 61 kilo. So I put on like 12 kilo in like 18 months off season, and then like a 20-week prep.
Nice.
So yeah, that was that. And then so I won my pro debut, which was my 4th show, and the Olympia was my 5th ever show. So that's what I mean. Like, it's been so crazy.
Aye. No, that's amazing. That's really, like you said, it's something to kind of look up to. Like, I mean, you're now 23, 22.
22, yeah, 22.
So you've already reached the pinnacle already, and you're only 22. So like, God knows how long you've got left. You know what I mean? That's a fair like legacy you can build from there. So that's class.
Yeah, I think like so I was obviously 21 at the Olympia. I think Ariel was the next closest, like, youngest person to me in my category, and she's 29. So you know, we've got some time to play with. But do you know what? That's the biggest issue. People always think they've got time, but we don't have time. We've got to do it now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you're right.
Do you feel you have like a cap on when you want to stop, or you not even thought that far ahead?
Nah, I've not even thought that far ahead, Greg. Like, I'll just, you know, see what happens. But I mean, the fitness category is obviously like it's tolling on your body, like your joints. Like, being a gymnast as well, like, obviously you never really get like muscular problems because you're so supple. It's the joints that hurt, the impact.
Yeah. Because I found they had a conversation on Boring Box the other day, and like the thought, do you feel it's like when you started to when, like, say obviously you started at like 30, do you think you could get to like 45, and so say you got like a 15-year competing period, or do you believe it's like when you started young then you're going to finish earlier, if that makes sense?
Well,
like it continues to, if you think what it would be like. Obviously, and you started, how old are you? 19?
When I started competing?
Yeah.
19, yeah. 19.
So
I've got 2 years left.
Obviously, I started like later in my 20s.
Aye.
So I'll be older before, like, obviously, both of you guys, but do you believe I'll make it longer because I started later? Or do you believe the time difference, that doesn't matter? Do you think you can go from like 18 to 40 or whatever?
I think that everybody's body is different, and also everybody's mind's different as well.
I think it depends on in terms of men. I think it depends how quickly you pushed up. I think that's going to be like, because if you added, just say like JP numbers, like 100 pounds over like that amount, like just say 5-6 years, that's a fucking massive toll on your body, your joints and whatever. So I think that's the fact that they missed. I don't know. I didn't really hear the whole conversation. I had it on in the background. Yeah. But from what I heard, like that's, for me, that would be the factor. It wouldn't be actually the length of time of when you started. It'd be how hard you pushed for prolonged periods of time. So
because they were speaking obviously definitely. Like who had that started like when they were like 19, 20, and like he was pretty much done by the time he was 38. He believed that was his peak. He's like, after that, like my body just didn't want to respond. Samson is like 37, 38, and he's like, his like escalation of where he's going is still fucking rocketing. Crazy. And it's like, because he started when he was like 34 or 33, he's not been doing it long at all. So it's like, how far could he go to 50 because he's not been doing it as long? So I find that conversation quite interesting. I believe it is like a time frame of when you started to when you go, and obviously how hard you train in between.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
because that's what I was like thinking. Like, obviously, people who start like really young, their career's going to end very early, or is it because they're so young, they've got a fucking infinity time to go?
Yeah. I agree with what you're saying as well. Like, it depends on like the rate that you're obviously putting on muscle, and like how you train and stuff like that is obviously going to impact that massively as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So talk us through like what's it like to be an Olympian? Like, see at the actual event itself, like the whole process and that, because it's not obviously just Motherwell for the PCA Scottish. Do you know what I mean? So
what all gets paid for you?
You get like, so you get the jacket. you get your tracksuit. Yeah. That was like, I was so buzzing about that tracksuit.
That's only one. I leave, that'd be fine.
That was what I was like. But no, so obviously you get your tracksuit and that, and then you get 3 nights in the hotel, and you get like if you're from out with America, you get a little bit more towards your flight, and then if you're internal, you get a bit towards your flight as well. You also get a bit of spending money to spend each day when you're there. Which is pretty cool. But yeah, the whole experience was like so surreal, because you know, like, we're going to like the athletes meet and greet. Well, I was going to the athletes meet and greet for people to come meet me, but like, I'm like, I want to meet them, you know. We sat next to like, you know, everyone that you would want to go and meet, but people are coming to meet you. So it's like, it is such a crazy experience. It's definitely, there's a lot going on, and if you don't know or you haven't been to it before, it's a lot to take in, you know. Like, so on the Thursday, we've got to do the like meeting for our classes and get all the information, then check into our room. Was it Thursday? No, we were checked in the Wednesday. No, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday we had, because we were on the Friday. So yeah, you do your meeting, and then you go to the athletes meet and greet, which is 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock, and then you've got to get your first layer of tan on. But fitness opened the show for pre-judging at 9 o'clock, so I was up to get my makeup done at like 2 or 3, you know, and then the tan, and then I was on stage. So it's so full on from like the Thursday, but now, because obviously this time I know the schedule, I'll definitely, you know, feel a lot more like confident and comfortable going, because I know what's happening.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, what was it? Oh shit, I had a question there. It's fucking gone. I do that quite a lot on this.
But honestly, like, it's such an incredible experience. Like, it's amazing. Like, you can't even put it into words how good it is.
Yeah. And when you were there, did you stay, because it was mid-December, wasn't it? So did you stay longer in Vegas, or what did you do? Did you make a holiday?
Well, last year it was in Orlando because of COVID. So it was in Orlando in October. Yeah. So Yeah, it was up. It was October. This year it's Vegas in December.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
They've put it back, so that's exciting. So Vegas this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I don't really know what the plans are yet. I've not decided, so I'm definitely going to go out early. I mean, last year we had to quarantine in a green list country to get into the US. So I was in Dubai. I had to be in Dubai for 2 weeks before. And then we had to fly to the US, which was like a 17-hour flight, and that was horrendous. So I don't know what I'll do this year, but at least like from the UK, you know, it's not near as bad as that.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll probably go out like maybe a couple of weeks early. But who, you know, just to get settled, but who knows after, because the event finishes on like the 19th of December, so it's like Christmas.
Pretty much it. That's what I was going to say, like you're going to stay like for Christmas Day in Vegas.
I know, that would be so cool.
Awesome. So yeah, where are you from originally?
Forfar,
right, okay, so not quite Dundee then.
Not quite Dundee.
I've got a whole list of Dundee jokes ready to go, but
not quite Dundee. Forfar born and bred, and then I just moved down to Rotherham a few years ago, but then I came back up. But I've come back down again. I do you know what? I love training from Ultraflex. I just love the kit here. It's honestly so good.
That's Cuba's Ultraflex, isn't it?
Yeah, it's here as well as close to Rob Taylor's gym too. So.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, it's good training from there as well. The atmosphere at that gym's sick. It's like it's more compact, but like it's got like good kit and like the atmosphere and the music. Like I love this gym. It's really good.
Yeah. We were going to do a road trip down to there just before the second lockdown, and I messaged him because mind how they were like, if they were like finding out you were from like Scotland or anything like that, they were like giving you fines and shit if you went to gyms.
Yeah.
Like plates of cars in the car parks and that. And I messaged Rob. I was just like, mate, do you care if we come down? He's like, I don't give a fuck. On you go. But then we were like, nah, we're going to Dubai. So but I've always wanted to train there. It looks really good. So
yeah, you should make it. You should make a trip of it. It's really good.
So you touched on a subject there that I kind of wanted to talk about, because Greg and I have talked about it in the past, and that said that you had like a stint of anorexia. So do you mind just talking about that?
Nah, not at all.
Because there are people who kind of claim that when you bodybuild, you compete, that in of itself develops like bad relationships with food. And we hear quite a lot of competitors, both male and female, saying that like they've backed away from bodybuilding due to like the mental side of things when it comes to food. How did you find, obviously having your history of anorexia, moving into competitive bodybuilding? How did you feel it kind of?
Honestly, I feel like bodybuilding it's changed my life like in a positive way. Like it literally like it saved it almost like because like yeah it's controlled and stuff like that, but like, you know, now like I don't even think about it. Like I obviously just do it, but like I in my opinion, it's obviously being a positive thing for me. However, maybe if you don't come from a background like that, it could impact you in a negative way, because maybe, you know, the control side of it is too much, or, you know, so some people could obviously, if they've not come from like tracking food and stuff like that, then going into like a more controlled way of doing stuff can obviously get in people's head. But I think it's a positive experience for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's and obviously like I've pushed up in my off season, like I've been fat in my off season, you know, and it's not been an issue. Like I've just done it, you know. So like it's honestly like just changed the way that I think about food. Like I just eat for performance, you know.
Yeah, because like I think I can't remember if it was just you and I, Greg, when we were talking about it, but like I don't know how people take my opinion of it. I like to hear like your opinion of my opinion, but like I feel that like when you like you have to, when you sign up to bodybuilding, you have to sign up to the how rigid and disciplined you have to be with food. And it kind of almost like, it's kind of like a moot point when people are like, yeah, I've got like this issue with food. I was like, yeah, because you should be super structured. You should be limiting yourself. You should only be eating certain sources. You should have to make quote unquote sacrifices when it comes to your nutrition. Like for me, it's like you went into this knowing that, and then
definitely it's a choice.
Yeah, and then you blame bodybuilding for all your ills. You know what I mean? That's kind of where, like, I think when me and Greg
that annoys me. Like that's not fair. Yeah. That's not fair. Like, you signed up for this. It's your choice. If you don't want to do it, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
It's like you say to people like who want to compete, like you have no idea what it actually entails you to do. Like they just see the end goal of stand on stage and everybody's like, oh, fucking well done, or you look amazing. They don't see what it takes to get there, or like what it entails, like how structured you have to be, how strict. Like it's like I remember when I first started doing it, and like stupid things of people offering you like one of their sweeties, and it's like, mate, it's like a fucking Malteser, and it's like, it's not the Malteser, it's the principle of the Malteser.
Yeah.
And like you get like that, and it's like people don't understand, like it's the mindset of where you need to be. It's not like that one Malteser is going to ruin everything, but it's the principle of going off plan with that one Malteser, and it's going to like tumbleweed effect and the other things. It's just like that, you can't do it. But then people who are like, I don't want to say they're weak, but obviously people who can't do that, they'll blame bodybuilding or blame the dieting of them like falling off plan. They got fucking food issues after that because they couldn't hack it. That's what I simply think.
I agree.
Yeah,
I do agree. You know, like it's just like something like you make a choice, like especially when you like, obviously like off season, like have a fucking bag of Maltesers if you really want, but like. You know, when you go into prep, like you make that choice. That's on you. That's not on anyone else. So you just need to get on with it and do it.
Yeah, 100%. It's like taking up swimming and complaining the water's cold. Like, you know the water's cold. Shut the fuck up.
Right, exactly. Just get on with it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we tried to like.
Some
people just ain't cut out for it though.
No, I know. Yeah.
They want to try go around the hard work somehow. There is no fucking excuse. There is no easy road.
Listen, you've got to just plow through it. There's going to be days where you feel like shite, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, how fucking bad do you want that goal? How bad do you want to achieve it? And that should be your driving force. You know, it comes from deep within. It's deep rooted. You know, if it ain't deep rooted, you ain't going to do well.
Yeah. For me, it's like I didn't come into bodybuilding with what I consider food issues, but I don't feel it's kind of like what I've got. I would never describe what my mentality towards food as like an eating disorder. I describe it as like respect for food. That's what I do. Like, I can walk into a restaurant and know like how to like maneuver around a menu and not be a complete dickhead, whether it's off season or whether it's like a pre-contest cheat. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where. Like it's all about shifting your mentality. Like, is it positive or negative? You know what I mean? If you're a negative person, constantly seeing all the negatives, you're going to say, oh, it ruined me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, like, it's just, we're just basically fueling our body for performance.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
For sure.
Sorry, you were going to say something?
Yep.
In terms of your training, well, no, let's touch on coaches, because you were with Ariel before, and now I see that you're not. Is that correct?
Yeah. So well, basically, I was with Darren for Portugal, and Darren Farrell, and then I came out. I moved on from Darren, and I came out of Portugal, and basically, Ariel kind of helped me a little bit with my routine, and we discussed her taking over. But me and Ariel are really good pals, and I met Vlad in Portugal, and we just discussed things with a bit more depth and detail and stuff, and that was just the option that I felt was best for me. So that's just the way that went. But I'm really, really pleased with how things are going.
Yeah.
Literally the change in like 9 days, it's been crazy. I don't know if you've seen on my Instagram story today, but yeah. just been insane. The attention to detail, crazy.
What would you say he does different? What's his like thought process?
Like
nutrition.
Nutrition wise, it's just I actually need to eat a meal, but it's just like clean, simple, and then obviously he'll just refeed me as and when needed. But as I said, the attention to detail, like take pictures now. This is why you're doing this. This needs to happen now, and this is why. It's just like a fountain of knowledge.
Yeah.
Is he still with Oxygen Gym?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like those guys are just like minimal fat, high carb, fairly high protein, and it's like when they see you go a little bit flat, it's like go to have a burger.
Aye, literally. But to be fair, my fat's quite high. Like I've not got like lean beef for that. Like it's like actual beef,
Oh yeah, okay. I like a 12%, 24%.
Aye, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
So but my fat is pretty high, but I think it is for my digestion, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Those guys are fairly like they don't like protein powders or much, do they? It's mostly like meats, rice, cream of rice, potatoes.
Not even cream of rice. It's just like rice.
Yeah, pretty much. They
rice,
don't like
rice, chicken, peanut butter, eggs, egg whites, sweet potato, beef.
Yeah, all whole sources.
That's it, really.
Yeah.
I get post workout. I have one shake with carbs immediately.
Yeah. So I tried to do it that way with Jamie a bit in the off season. It's like you struggle so bad to eat just clean sources. It's like if you're like full like all day and like you're kind of wanting a little bit of sweet, and it's like trying to eat a fucking another chicken rice meal and you're just like bleh. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Well, this is 300 gram of cooked rice and 180 beef.
Yeah.
So speaking of Oxygen Gym, like if you had the chance, I don't know I'm pretty sure they don't let women in, but hypothetically, if you could take yourself to that kind of like scenario, would you do it? I think me and Greg
absolutely.
You would.
Absolutely. Damn right.
Leave the UK and lock yourself in a room, just like lie in bed all day and just have them shovel food in your mouth until you went to train.
Well, yeah, I would love it. But basically, this is what I've come here to do. This is exactly what I'm doing here.
Yeah. That's kind of touches on a point there as well, because I've asked that. That will never happen for me, that kind of opportunity. But like, you ask yourself, what would I do in that situation? And I really don't know. I personally think like being reclusive like that works for people who, I don't know, aren't 100% at home.
Yeah, lazier.
Yeah, you said it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're lazier. I would just say, like, if you've got an opportunity like that, why would you not take it? Because, like, someone's training you, you're getting all your food cooked, like, it's just ideal for a bodybuilder, really, to if you want to like grow in off season or you want to grow into a show, perfect.
But I mean, you could look at the people who have went, and you can kind of look at who they are and what they are like.
And
Nathan is not lazy, but Nathan is like a little bit of a party boy at home. He likes stuff out with the gym, doing that kind of thing. So like when he goes there, it's like tunnel vision. They can't do fuck all else. Then you look at Brandon Curie, who was supposedly very lazy. Same with Rolly. He's like a really, really lazy trainer. So when he gets put there, he's like dragged to the gym, do this, do that, eat this, eat that. It's like regimented. It's like these guys like need that gym, whereas like there's many people who probably wouldn't. But when they went to that gym, that made them pretty much, because they were so strict.
I think some of my clients expect me to do that to them.
I come and wake them up.
Aye.
I just imagine like a guy like your servant come to the door with like those metal platters with like needles on it and a meal. Like, here you go.
Get that down, your son.
What's in the needle? It doesn't matter. Just take it.
Just go for it. Take it.
They just get I think they just get like their meal preps like from the gym. And
Yeah,
just take it home with them.
Yeah. I would like to see it. I would like to see it one day, like kind of travel there and kind of do that. It's a bit like a bucket list thing. Not like a full on stay there for 6 months away from here, but just even like maybe a couple of weeks or like a month or something. That'd be pretty cool. Just kind of pay them away. That'd be smart.
I think it'd be tough. Like,
I
remember Jamie went and he told me about it, and he was like, but he paid his way, and I think they said like they were wanting him to not pay his way. It was literally like, we want you to be here, then you're going to be ours. But he was like, no, I just want to be here for like this kind of routine, the setup, the structure. And they're like, no, don't worry about it. We'll pay for it. Yeah. But I was like, literally, like, we want you, then you're going to owe us. You know what I mean? Like, you are our athlete now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see anything from the Two Bros British? See any results from that?
I didn't really see much of it. I watched there was a couple of fitness girls, just because obviously like I like to see the fitness category.
Yeah, I was just trying to load that up.
But I didn't watch much of it.
Yeah, I was there. I had a client competing in classic, so but it was a brilliant show. I did actually enjoy it. Do
you know who looked really good actually? From Scotland, Dylan. You know,
yeah,
Dylan. He actually looked good in class. He looked really good.
Yeah, so the boy that beat him in the overall. There's another idea for the podcast, Greg. By the way,
he was good, was he?
The
boy won classic. He was really good. He was quite big. He was big.
He was just a like small bodybuilder basically, because he's so tall as well. Like he got away with it. But Dylan looked fucking excellent. He looked really good. Like if like the guy who won the overall, he was so pleasing to the eye. Like he just that round kind of shape and just like
very like Chris Bumstead-esque.
Yeah.
Tall, really poppy body parts, small waisted round. It was really good.
But
and if Dylan brings up his top line though in his chest,
I think he's enough thickness. He really needs to bring up his thickness a lot. He's a very streamlined, very Frank Zane. He just needs more mass to him.
But Dylan looked excellent. It was really, really good. And then we had obviously Johnny. I don't know what's the name of the guy, Claude or something.
What?
Super
in
heavy.
The Open.
Super.
Johnny Mack.
Yeah. Johnny McKenna. Yeah. The guy that won that was third at the Arnold in the heavies.
On the heavies, all right.
Which I thought he looked horrendous when I seen the photos of there. So he really fucking picked it up to come in winning that.
Yeah, because I had a few people text me when I was there, and they were saying like including yourself, like how does it actually look? And I'll send you photos and videos at the time, and like that guy that won, he is very, very black. So like photographs I did but he was like it was a very pleasing physique, and like he was sharp. He wasn't as sharp as Johnny though, but he wasn't so behind in condition that it was like this is Johnny's flat out. You know what I mean? I thought he was really pleasing physique, but to be honest, like I thought Johnny had that.
He went either way,
Yeah, I can see why he was raging, to be honest, but it's really good, isn't it? So
but we've all been there.
Yep.
It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's what we all need to swallow.
Johnny's condition looked insane as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for a guy that big, like he was insanely peeled and full and everything. So it was class. It was a great show. I didn't manage to catch any of the female classes though, because they were on later at night. But no, the bodybuilding side was really, really good. So
speaking of Scotland, obviously Sophie Brewster won her pro card there.
Oh yeah.
She looked so good as well.
Yeah, that was well earned. Like she really put a battle for weeks and weeks for that.
So,
we need to step our game up, mate, because like that's 3 IFBB pros that we've had on that are all female from Scotland. Not one male. It's pretty poor.
But when was the last male bodybuilder for Scotland? The 80s.
Stevie Crichton.
I think it was 80s.
Yeah, 90s. Yeah.
Beginning of 90s, yeah. So that's a fucking long time.
Any of you competing next, Greg?
Probably June, May, June.
And what about you, Andy?
I'm going to do the Arnold UK next year.
Andy's doing the shows I'm not doing.
No, Greg's doing the shows I'm not doing.
Who's going to get it first?
No, I was supposed to do I wanted to do the amateur Olympia. But before you could just like sign up for it and you could just rock up like you could with the Arnold US amateurs, but they changed that. So now you need to do a regional, which is fine, but the last regionals, according to this year's diary, are in September. So like I'm not doing a regional in September and then waiting to December to compete. So yeah.
It's an American thing that like it's not like that for all the shows. It's just those two.
Just those two. Well, now just one. It's just the Arnold.
Yeah.
Even then, the Arnold now says that you now have to win a regional with the Arnold.
Yeah.
From 20, but they've been like you can do it from 2021 or 2022, so that gives a good gate of people to come in. But yeah, they've all changed it now. So, but that's the way of it.
Yeah. Did you see the show this weekend?
Yeah. Tampa.
Yeah. It was quite. I thought Thingy had it. This guy came in second. The guy's like 52.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought he fucking had it. His condition was nuts.
Class.
But then I just thought,
honestly, see if I can look like that when I'm 52.
Nuts.
You look
but like,
crazy.
It's
His
really
condition was crazy.
It's getting annoying because it's like all the 2-on-2 guys are winning shows now, like opens.
Yeah.
Like Angelo, Sean, and there was another one. I can't remember. Then he almost won. I was like, fucking 4 guys come to the 2-on-2 pumping open. Like, needs to stop.
Is Derek going to the Open this year?
They haven't announced it, but I think so.
It would have to be a special invite. Because obviously he's not going to qualify. They would have to say, oh, you can go do the Open. But I think that'd probably be a bit, well, I think folk would be pretty pissed off with that, to be honest. Unless you got Flex's invite.
Speaking of moving classes, do you see yourself always doing fitness?
Yeah.
With no ambitions to move like physique or anything like that?
Nah. Did you know that 70% of our score comes from the routine?
Yeah.
So why? Don't get me wrong. Like fitness routines are like incredible, and they actually require athleticism. But like I don't understand why there's so much emphasis on fitness routines, but the male posing routines zero.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That makes no sense.
Makes sense at all.
Yeah, so I really wish like that was really brought into it. They did try it for a while. They've done it at the Arnold, but
the Arnold do it a little bit.
Yeah, they did, and that's how Kai Green beat Cedric McMillan that year. I mind that was when like Arnold was like, go pull a vacuum to Kai. What a fucking cunt, honestly. I just like.
That year he done Dirty Diana,
No.
That was a good routine though, but yeah, fucking Kai would win hands down every time if it was all about posing.
So did you compete in gymnastics at quite a high level?
Yeah, decent level. Not the greatest, but like national level and stuff. And like I did some like camps, like international camps and stuff. But I'm very tall, so my body was I was a long gymnast. And I was never a strong gymnast. I've always been more flexible. So a lot of like the skills that I can do now, like my skills are actually like I find them so much easier because I'm so much stronger than what I was when I was like a kid.
Yeah.
Which is actually crazy. But yeah, I trained like a lot when I was younger. So it's just like it's such like a natural progression for a gymnast to go into fitness.
Yeah.
This is actually a question I've always wanted to ask. Obviously, like we all know, by the time we get to like sometimes even 4 weeks out, going into like 1 week out, the energy is just like gone. You're really struggling sessions. You have to take like a good few minutes between sets to really like compose yourself. how hard is it to try and practice like your routine and stuff in that point?
Honestly, like I swear fitness girls are crazy, because it takes like it's like you've got to go like completely somewhere else. It's a 2 minute routine you've got to do, you know, like you're seeing stars, you're dizzy. Like
that's what's always like blown me away. Like, so, like we know how it feels, like just trying to do a fucking set of like pressing or whatever, trying to do like fucking flat out like routine backflips, splits, fucking whatever, diving across the floor. Like that's not happening.
Yeah.
Mental.
That's why like it's so important to, like, usually when I go into prep, my routine's finished, so that I can just practice it as and when I need, you know, like I'll do it in my off season. Because if you go into prep without a routine and you're trying to learn one, oh my God, it's so hard.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely baffled by just that it's just making see I could barely put my socks on without fucking dying of fatigue, you know what I mean? So no, it's really incredible what you guys do. It's fucking insane. So
yeah.
Thank you.
I always feel like explosive energy just like goes out the window at that point in prep. So like how you guys can like keep pouncing and like backflips and whatever tumbles and like still managing to pull it off is like mind blowing to me.
It is it's such a misunderstood category as well. Like so many people still don't understand about the category, you know. Especially like in the UK, it's still so small, and even Europe, you know, it's big in America, but over here it's not really well known. So I'll always jump at an opportunity to speak about it on a podcast, because like I want to share my passion for the category with everyone, and you know, maybe some people would want to do the category and learn about it.
It's tough because like you're crossing passions. Like obviously it's two passions combined into one. So if like usually
for sure
one person has one, they don't really think about combining the other. Like I can imagine a bodybuilder would never, well, a person who like trains like us is not going to think, oh, do you know what, I'm going to take up gymnastics in my spare time. It's not going to happen. So essentially you'd have to be like a gymnast, but then do you know what? I've been looking at bodybuilding class, I might go do that as well. And it's like you've got to go and combine the two. So it's you can imagine it's very rare, like a lot of people will do it.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously the amount of like girls that get into gymnastics from an insanely early age, like you'll know better than both of us. Like, what is like the average end age for like a gymnastics career? We're not talking about just like the average gymnastics girl who like does it through school and stuff, like, and isn't quite at the point where they can go to like Olympic level.
They actually tend to probably end up doing it longer.
Right. Okay. What kind of age would you say is like average or tap out?
About 15.
Tap out. Stop.
About 15. Yeah. People that just do like kind of like recreational classes and stuff, they kind of maybe go to like when they finish school to like 18. But a lot of like me and my friends like gymnastics, we were done by the time we were 15.
Yeah, because the point I'm trying to make is like if there was like some sort of way of like, you know, promoting fitness and saying to these girls, look, here's what you can do after that's done. You can take that gymnastics to there. I think that's, don't get wrong, we haven't got eyes on like you do, but from what I kind of see, like maybe it's the bridge that hasn't quite been built yet. You know, getting out to these girls. Sure. There's a thing that you can do post gymnastics career, and that's pick up some weights, gain a lot of muscle, and go on stage and do a routine while showing your physique off. Obviously,
definitely a sick idea. It's a good idea.
I mean, I don't know how you just, you know, I mean, someone like yourself, obviously an Olympian, could walk into like your local like gym and just be like, look, like a talk or something. I don't know.
This is
I mean,
this is what can come after. This is what can come out of it.
Because fitness is so, we can see how girls get into bikini, we can see how girls get into figure and plus, but fitness, because it's niche within a niche.
Yeah.
So like there needs to be some sort of like
bridges
between the bodybuilding industry and the gymnastics industry to say like this is the next step if you want to continue to do something in gymnastics. So perhaps there's something there to
definitely
solving all.
It's got harder as you got older.
Do
you feel it's got hard, like doing gymnastics got harder as you got a bit older?
Not really, because I'm stronger. Like a lot of the skills are actually easier. My flexibility takes a little bit more work now, though. Definitely. That have to stretch a bit more and stuff. Because
even in off season, do you stretch like every day?
Nah, not. Well, actually, to be fair, I do stretch like every morning, but it won't be for as long. When I'm on prep though, like it's obviously just every day, you know. But it's a lot longer. Like if it's like off season, I'll stretch maybe like I don't know, like 20 minutes. But obviously I do gymnastics now for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you do like videos and stuff on Instagram, you know, like where you're like doing like tumbles down the street and that. Has there ever been like a time where you've been like pulled up and someone's been like, can you fucking stop it? Or has that never happened?
Nah, never.
Like quite public places. I'm always wondering if there's like someone's been like, what are you doing?
I mean, I get a few funny looks, but I just don't care to me. I think it's quite funny. Like, you know, like I quite like doing like proper random stuff just to get a reaction out of people, just to see what they'll do. It's quite funny. Yeah. But yeah, it's always been fine. I mean, it's good here because obviously, like, I've got like a proper like gym that I can go to for gymnastics, you know. So it's so good, and they run like every day, so it's great.
Oh.
Greg, have you ever tried to like go to a trampoline park in recent years?
No.
Right.
There's one up in Aberdeen.
Mate, when was the last time you actually ran?
No, well, that's the thing. I went to one, right? It was the start of the PCA British Prep in 2019, and I was like, right, I've got a bit of energy. Let's go do this. So we went to the trampoline park at Braehead, and mate, like, fucking honestly, it was a good solid 2 minutes, and I was like, because they were like, oh, it's like a 30-minute, no, it's a 30 or 45-minute session, and I was like, that's so expensive for that amount of time, but I spent, you know, what was it, 43 minutes of it on my fucking arse.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah.
It seems like there's stuff like that.
Tiring.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, how the fuck? I couldn't even do it when I was like just coming out of an off season, let alone. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't like tumbling and I was just jumping face first in the foam pits. But
I think stuff like that now. See when like someone says, "Oh, do you want to do this?" or "Do you fancy doing that?" The first thing that pops in your head, like, I could probably get injured doing that.
Yeah.
That's like all I ever think about now.
Because yours is so big though.
It's like we're taught, like our muscles are taught to do one thing, like the contraction, relaxation, and things. So like somebody said, like, go fucking sprint. My hamstring is not going to move that fast. So it's like it's probably just going to fucking rip off the bone. Yeah. It's like things like that. Like your body is like, your muscles are like, you do pressing, squats, whatever it may be, but fucking quickly changing like this way or to that way, sprinting, whatever, is fucking going to do something. I remember I threw a tennis ball last year and fucking put a little micro tear in my lat.
Really?
Like, honestly, because I went again after trying to launch it. I remember I launched it, I just felt like it's ripped in my lat, and it was like a shooting pain down my side. I was like, for fuck's sake. Just a little thing like that. I wasn't ready for that.
Aye, it's because you're just so big though, because like see when I'm in my off season, I'm like fucking 80 kilo, and the difference is just crazy from you know, prep to off season. So I just won't get as fat because I can't do gymnastics properly. But I can, but like I'm just feel so heavy.
Aye.
Me, so, actually getting off the sofa is like a fucking gymnastics move right now. Fucking no way.
Rolling off.
Oh, I get off that position, like my knees are just fucking wrecked.
Take up bodybuilding and all lateral movement goes out the fucking window.
Yeah.
So where do you, obviously it might be a daft question because you've already achieved it, but where do you see yourself down the line in like 5 years' time?
Miss Olympian in 5 years.
Yeah, because I'm glad you said that. Well, I didn't think any other answer, to be honest, but I think like with some more size, like, and your shape, like that's pretty fucking deadly. And like the condition you can get in, because obviously condition is not a problem because we've seen what you can do. So yeah, that's going to be pretty
my body likes to get lean, but it does struggle a bit more to gain size. But I just gotta keep fucking plowing on through, just keep going, we'll get there. I always say it though, like if you truly want something, if you believe it and you just fucking work hard, it's got to happen. It has to. Just keep going.
Yeah, but like you said, it's a case of like you're the youngest in the Olympia lineup by a lot. So yeah, I mean, even 5 years, the one I just said there, like even 5 years, you're still not at the next.
I want a top 6 this year. Next year I'll be a top 3, and the year after that I'm going for it. I'm going for it. I'm telling you, within 5 years I'm going to get that title.
Yeah, no, that's class. I still won't be a pro.
Yeah,
you will. Come on.
So what was I going to say? I had one more thing ready to go, but I can't remember. I was trying to think of like,
out your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so bad for it, man. I was going to try and do a thing, Greg, like in each episode. So at work, we were discussing like 3 words that you can't say properly. So like I can't say anonymous. I can't say. I have to really think about
anonymous.
Anonymous.
That's it.
Parallel. I have to really think to say parallel. And then what was the other one? What was another one? There's another word I can't say. Anyway, so what, Alex? What's your 3 words that you struggle to say?
I don't know. I mean, half the time I don't even know what I'm saying myself because, I don't think before I speak. So, but I don't know what words I can't say. I'm going to have a think about that one,
What are you, Greg?
This is actually a strange one for me because I don't know if you actually know this, but I used to stutter when I was little.
Really?
It still carries on a little bit now. I don't stutter in sentences, but if I'm waiting to start some in a sentence, or like say I'm in a situation where I don't know people or I'm on the phone and like the answer, and I've got to say a word, and it's like I know that word is something I'm going to struggle with a little bit. I'll either replace the word or I'll have to take a minute and then get ready to say it. Sometimes this is quite bad. I'm really bad at saying my name off the bat.
What do you mean?
So if like somebody's away to ask my name on the phone, I can't get out and say G. Like I'll struggle to say Greg.
Right, so you say Reg.
Really? Right.
No, but I will say, like, I can say my name Greg, it's fine, but just because I'm on the phone to somebody, it's odd. I'll won't be able to get it out. So it's like stupid words that I'll sometimes struggle with. And then it requires my tongue at the top of my mouth to start. It's weird.
Yeah.
I've never noticed, Greg.
No, you wouldn't. I'll never ever stutter. I'll never stutter in front of people. Like it's totally fine now. But when I was little, I used to have it quite bad. I used to just replace words that I knew I could say. I would never ever like go through the whole stutter thing. I'd actually just think of another word and say that instead.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm with clients, I'm like, I want to say, like, get your feet parallel. I have to really think like, get your feet parallel.
just say like, get your feet in line.
I know, but you want to sound smart when you're a PT. All the coaches do nowadays.
Yeah.
Smart captions and shit. Big words.
Honestly, some of the way that some of these PTs sell their sell, I mean, you've got to give it to them because, like, honestly,
effort,
like, I mean, yeah.
I feel like a rant coming on.
I know.
Oh. Aye, it's the industry is it's a funny industry. We had this discussion with Erin last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's a funny old industry we live in, but that's the way of it. So, I mean, you doing online coaching? You doing any PT yourself? I know you do online coaching, but you do any PT or anything?
Nah, just online just now, just online. But do you know what? I really enjoy online coaching because obviously, like, I like doing people's nutrition as well. And doing like the diet side of it, rather than just because like people come to a PT session, they can go away and eat 10 donuts and come back and they still don't see progress, and I'm like, well, what have you actually ate? Whereas when they've got to check in with you, there's no getting around it.
Yeah. No.
I actually forgot how, I wouldn't say like I've missed 1-to-1, but just going back to recently for 2 days a week, I forgot like how rewarding it is for somebody at like our level who knows like certain little things, or like exactly where a certain person's height and like how their body mechanics work, where their feet need to be on a hack squat, certain things like that. And when you teach them that and they come off that, like, holy shit, I've never felt like that movement before, like that. Like, that's really rewarding, because you know that so well, and you can judge that person's height or whatever, and like you can look at them do a couple of reps and go, right, just try this, blah blah blah, and they'll come off and go, that was amazing. I've never felt like that connection before, and like that's quite rewarding because you've got like that knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
Last few weeks.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are you like Erin? Have you got like a pure like precise bedtime?
Nah, not me. Not me. Nah, just see what happens. Like,
just see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like, I am. If I was any more laid back, I'd be fucking lying down when it comes to stuff like that.
That's that.
Do you have like an alarm clock in the morning, or do you just like wake whenever?
Listen, I'm not a good sleeper. I'm absolutely horrendous at sleeping. I cannot sleep past like 5 o'clock.
Even in off season?
Even in off season, I'm terrible at sleeping. I've always been a bad sleeper.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You got the
No, I'd not you clean out.
I think you will be horrible. That'd be game over.
Now, I don't know why my sleep's not good. I've never been a good sleeper. Like, when I was a kid at school, if I had like honestly, if I had PE the next day, I'd be thinking about like what we're going to do in PE. I'd be like, I need to beat them at this, and it would be on my mind all night, thinking about how I'm going to beat this person doing this. Like, it's so ridiculous. Or like if I had like like sports day, like you're like up thinking about like sports day because you want to win that much, like stuff like that.
I used to have that when I was like in my teens. I remember I had a summer job where I was like a slater, and I was putting like tiles and stuff on the roof, and that's like all you done all day. Like, the job obviously never changed. That's all you done, to put the tiles on the roof. And I remember going to sleep at night, and that's all I could fucking see when I shut my eyes was like looking down at the roof and putting tiles, hammering it down.
Monotonous.
Fucking hell, that was bad.
That's crazy. That.
Yeah.
That's like soul destroying.
Oh, it was. It was just like a summer job.
Yeah.
What's the worst job you've had?
I got sacked from working in a baker's because I kept giving people the wrong change. I kept giving people back the wrong change because I can't count.
Fair enough.
That's about right. Take that.
We're fucking bad.
And you'd have definitely got thrown at the baker's eating.
You got to do what you got to do in life, don't you? So, I think we're pushing an hour mark. We like to keep it to an hour just because obviously we want people like switching off and that. So, but no, we really appreciate you coming on. Like you said,
thanks for having me. First
Olympian on, representing Scotland, which is obviously
absolutely. Let's fly the flag.
100%. So I'm actually delighted that you actually did that, because I saw your last show that it said Scotland rather than not to like piss off any English people that listen to this, but when it comes to flags, we do like our own flag.
Absolutely, it has to be done.
Yeah, definitely. So, but no, we're all really proud of you, and hopefully,
thank you.
With the Olympia coming, I know it's a wee while away, but I'll be interested to kind of get you back on after Olympia and talk about the Olympia, that kind of experience. So yeah, best of luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah.
And everyone, would appreciate if you've made it this far in the podcast. Like I said, we're kind of going along with these week to week, just kind of getting as many people as we can on. And if you've got any questions or anything you'd like to see in the future episodes, just let us know, and we'll stick them in the podcast. We'll ask our future guests and take it from there. So cheers again, guys.
Thank you. Cheers.